Hey, baby doll, what's going on? Yeah, you won't play rough? Won't play rough? Say hello to my little friend. La 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 la. Attica, Attica, Attica. Hoo-ah! I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Wait a minute. It's Marlon Brando. Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list, and this top 10 list is for Al Pacino. Yes, hoo-ah! Al Pacino. I love me some Al Pacino. I love his movies, and I'm proud to say I'm going to make my top 10 list of my favorite Al Pacino movies. I've been wanting to do this list for a while, but I didn't really think about what my favorite Al Pacino movie is, and I'm pretty satisfied with this list. This is just my personal favorites, remember. So yeah, this is my top 10 favorite Al Pacino movies. Before a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my 5 honorable mentions for Al Pacino movies are Carlito's Way, Sea of Love, Frankie and Johnny, Danny Collins, and The Devil's Advocate. 5 great films, just couldn't make the top 10 list. But what did make my top 10 was my number 10, and that is the movie Serpico. Love me some Serpico. I'm a big fan of Sidney Lumet, and I'm a big fan of Al Pacino, so of course I love this movie. Serpico, based on a true story about the cop with a big beard. That's how I always remember this movie. Oh yeah, Al Pacino with the awesome beard. And yeah, I just recently watched this movie, because I watched this movie like 10 years ago, and I really liked it. But I'm like, do I still like it? Does it still hold up? It still holds up. This is a very good movie, very well written, very well directed, very, very realistic, and very gritty, and Al Pacino is amazing. This movie is so freaking good. It's a really good, intense cop story, and I'm invested in this movie from start to finish. It's a great movie, great performance by Al Pacino, and it's awesome. If you love Sidney Lumet, you love Al Pacino, you'll love Serpico. It's an awesome movie. Number 9 is Insomnia. Yes, Insomnia. Christopher Nolan's Insomnia. As you saw my ranking of Nolan movies, this was pretty high on the list, and I'm a big fan of this movie, Insomnia. It's a pretty underrated movie, especially from like Christopher Nolan's filmography. Everyone's like, oh, Inception, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, those are his masterpieces, even Interstellar. A lot of people forget about Insomnia, and they shouldn't, because this movie is incredible. It's a very dark, gruesome, psychological movie, and it's awesome. It's basically about a cop who goes to Alaska and investigates a murder, and while he's investigating this murder, he has insomnia. He doesn't sleep, so he goes through a psychological torture, not only from the death of his partner, but through the death of this young girl, and also Robert Williams, who plays the serial killer who's always taunting him. He's making these calls and threatening him, and also trying to befriend him and everything, and it's a really good movie. This is a really intense, very well-crafted film, and Al Pacino is amazing. This movie is a lead cop, and Robert Williams and Hilary Swank are all great, but Al Pacino steals this movie, and he's really good. And between him and Nolan's direction, this movie is just awesome. It's a very, very, very good movie. It's almost like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of movie, and it's a great movie. Check out Insomnia if you've not seen it. Coming number 8 is Donnie Brasco. Yes, Donnie Brasco. We wise guys. Forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah, I know this is Johnny Depp's movie because it is Donnie Brasco. Johnny Depp plays Donnie Brasco. But Al Pacino is a lead character with him. He plays Lefty, his right-hand man, and yeah, he's really good in this movie. Actually, I think Al Pacino is even better than Johnny Depp in this movie. You know, I love Johnny Depp in this movie as Donnie Brasco, but I love Lefty. Lefty is like my favorite character in this movie. Lefty is awesome. He's very sarcastic. He's kind of a smartass, but he's got a lot of heart in him. He's a really good guy, and the ending is a very questionable scene. You don't know what happens to him. Actually, yeah, you kind of know what happens to him. It's kind of sad, actually, and this is a very good movie. Mike Newell directed this movie, and it's a really, really good movie. It's a bit long, but it's very, very good. I love how they just show just like a modern life of mobsters, and it's not like an epic movie like Godfather, or a very gritty movie like Casino. It's just a really good, dramatic mob movie, and it's a really good movie. I love this movie. So it's a pretty good comedic elements too, and it's got a very good climax, really good acting. Not only by these two, but Michael Madsen's also in it, and it's a very engaging movie. It's a very well-written movie, and it's just a really good movie to watch, especially if you're into mob movies. So yeah, check out Donnie Brasco if you've not seen it. It's a great movie. Forget about it. Forget about it. My number 7 is Say Hello to My Little Friend, because it is Scarface. Yes, Tony Montano, Scarface. What can I not say about this movie, Scarface? Everyone fucking loves Scarface. Everyone loves Scarface. I love Scarface. Scarface is a great movie. It's one of Brian De Palma's best movies. And this was a very controversial film when it came out, and a lot of people didn't like it because it had a lot of swearing, a lot of drugs, and it was really violent and unpleasant, and That's what I love about it. It's awesome. It's very well directed, very well executed, very well told. And Al Pacino is just iconic in this movie. This is one of his most iconic performances. It's Tony Montano, and one of the greatest scenes in cinema when he's "Say hello to my little friend," his death scene. It's awesome. This entire movie's awesome. It's badass. Everyone loves it. I love it. What else you gotta say? Everyone loves it. Scarface. Tony Montano. Come on. Coming number 6 is Dog Day Afternoon. Yes, Attica. Yes, Al Pacino playing a boss. Al Pacino playing a bank robber, and this movie is really good. This movie actually explores a lot of good issues, a lot of issues about social commentary and about gay rights and stuff, and it's very good. This movie is very ahead of its time, and it's a solid flick. This movie just blows me away every time I watch it. This is actually like my favorite Sidney Lumet movie. This and Network are like my 2 favorite Sidney Lumet movies, and I adore this movie. Al Pacino is mesmerizing in this movie. He makes this movie. He is fantastic. If you've not seen this movie, please check it out. Watch it for the beautiful performance Al Pacino gives in this movie as the character Sonny. So freaking good, and it tackles a lot of good issues, and it's very well directed and very well structuralized, and I adore this movie. One of my favorite bank robbing movies. For sure. Dog Day Afternoon, awesome movie. Attica. Coming number 5 is Glengarry Glen Ross. This is a pretty different movie, and yeah, Al Pacino's in it with a stellar cast. So that's Kevin Spacey, Jack Lemmon, who else is in it? Alec Baldwin, all that shit. Like, a lot of great actors in this movie, and this is a really good dialogue-filled movie. And if you love movies just about talking and stuff, you'll love this movie. If you love movies like Goodnight and Gluck and stuff, this is a great movie. Very, very good movie. And Al Pacino is phenomenal in this movie. He is so freaking good. And basically, it's all about just realtors, you know, trying to make the big sale and everything, but something bad happens. Someone steals something, and they don't know who stole it and everything. Basically, they're conversing with each other, trying to figure out who did and stuff. And it's a really good movie. And Al Pacino's performance is just awesome. He's really good in this movie. He's my very, again, him and Kevin Spacey stole this movie, and I love Jack Lemmon in this movie as well, but I love Kevin Spacey, and I love Al Pacino in this movie, and I do like the one scene Alec Baldwin is in, because he makes a really awesome speech, but just Al Pacino's presence in this movie, and his character is just really interesting and fascinating, and I love this movie. This movie is writing at its best, and it's just so fascinating, and it has a great ending, too. Very good twist at the ending, and yeah, I love this movie, and I love Al Pacino in it. Coming number 4 is Heat. Yes, I was talking about bank robbing movies with Dog Day Afternoon. This is the greatest bank robbing movie of all time. I love Dog Day Afternoon, and I think actually that movie is a better film than Heat. I just like Heat personally better because I don't know what it is. I'm blown away every time I watch this movie Heat. It's just so entertaining, and I grew up with this movie Heat. I didn't grow up with Dog Day Afternoon. The first time I saw Dog Day Afternoon was like 5 years ago, but I saw this movie the first time when I was like 11, and I've watched it a bajillion times ever since. I've seen this movie about 40 times, and I can't get enough of it. It's just so good. Al Pacino and De Niro, one of the most greatest actors in the 90s and 80s, in a movie together, and it was awesome. That scene when they're in the diner together, talking, first time on screen together, amazing. It was so freaking good. Val Kilmer, love Val Kilmer in this movie. The bank robbing scenes, the heist scenes in this movie is just amazing. So freaking good. The ending of this movie is awesome. And this movie, it's badass. It's just a badass heist movie. And this is one of my favorite Michael Mann movies. I love Heat, and I love The Last of the Mohicans. Those are probably like my favorite Michael Mann movies, but I adore this movie. I grew up with this movie, and I can't get sick of this movie. I don't know how to get sick of Heat. How do you get sick of Heat? It's just not physically possible. I've seen this movie 40 times, for Christ's sakes, and I still cannot get sick of it, because it's an amazing movie. Great action, great drama, and an amazing performance by both Pacino and De Niro. Love Heat. So good. Coming in 3 is The Insider. Yes, I know Russell Crowe got nominated, but Pacino was still excellent in this movie. He was really good. This movie is strictly about the tobacco industry and everything, and it's a riveting watch. It's a riveting film, and I adore this movie. I'm not going to go into details of this movie, just see. If you're into good dramatic movies with good political and social commentary, you'll love this movie. Pacino's great, Russell Crowe's great, check it out. It's one of my favorite Pacino movies. Love The Insider. Coming number 2 is Scent of a Woman. Yes, as you saw my ranking in the Martin Brest movies, this is my favorite Martin Brest movie. And I'd say something, because Martin Brest has some good movies like Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run. I love Scent of a Woman. Hoo-ah! Yes. Pacino's the blind man. Yes, awesome. And Chris O'Donnell, one of the few good performances Chris O'Donnell gives. And This movie won Al Pacino's Oscar. I can see why. I'm blown away by his performance in this movie. I love his character. He's so sympathetic, so likable, and I love him. I'm rooting for him. I'm like, oh, don't die, I like you, man. You're awesome. He's a grumpy old man, but he's an awesome grumpy old man. And that speech at the end with the school, fucking awesome. Too old and too fucking blind for this. And yeah, he's just so good in this movie. But yeah, he won the Oscar only for this movie, which I don't get. Al Pacino's playing some of the greatest movies ever, like Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, The Heat, and Godfather, and he never won Oscars for those, but he did win it for Scent of a Woman, which I'm glad. Just Al Pacino, he's the kind of actor I'm always surprised, like, why doesn't he have like 7 Oscars? This guy's like one of the greatest actors like of all time, and he only has 1 Oscar. I don't get it. But I love Scent of a Woman. I love the story about a kid just trying to take care of an old guy for the weekend, and he finds out this old guy the whole time is just trying to commit suicide, and the kid has to try to help him out and everything. In the meantime, Al Pacino's dealing with a lot of demons inside of him, and it's an amazing movie. A beautiful, dramatic movie that's both moving, emotional, and just downright entertaining to watch. And I love this movie, Scent of a Woman. This holds quite dear to me, and it's one of my favorite movies by Al Pacino, and one of my favorite movies of all time. Fantastic movie. And my number 1 favorite Al Pacino movie is The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2. Yes. Got the big box set of all the Godfather movies right here, and the special features and everything. I love the Godfather movies. I love them all. I didn't put Part 3 on there because I don't hate Part 3. I don't hate Godfather Part 3. It has a lot of problems. It's definitely not in my top 10 favorite Pacino movies. By no means, there's so many good Al Pacino movies that's not even in my top 10. Top 20 maybe. But I do like it. Part 1, Part 2, amazing movies. This is like groundbreaking masterpiece of films, and I read the Godfather book. I read the book of the Godfather. It was okay. The movies are way, way better, far superior than the novel, and I love them. I love Al Pacino as Michael Corleone, and I love the story of the Godfather. I love the dialogue of the Godfather. I love the way Francis Ford Coppola directs both of the films, and I love that De Niro comes and plays the young Marlon Brando in Godfather Part 2, and I love these movies, and I love Al Pacino's performance in both these films. I can't say much about The Godfather that everyone else hasn't said already. It's an amazing crime movie, and its performances are amazing. The writing is amazing. The direction is amazing. These characters are iconic characters. If you've not seen Godfather, see it. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. Both 1 and 2 are some of the greatest films I've ever seen in my entire life, and I love The Godfather. My favorite Al Pacino movie, Godfather 1 and Part 2. Phenomenal movies. Brilliant, brilliant filmmaking. Francis Ford Coppola, thank you for giving us The Godfather. They're truly amazing films. Godfather. Make him nuffa. You can't refuse. So yeah, that was my top 10 favorite Al Pacino movies. What'd you think? Yeah, please comment below and give me your top 10 favorite Al Pacino movies. Yeah, I know y'all have different opinions, but yeah, comment below, let me know. I'm curious to know. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.